play is memory. As a memory play, it is dimly lit, it is sentimental, it is not realistic. Everything in memory seems to happen in music. That explains the fiddles in the wings. See, I'm the narrator of the show, but also a character in it. The other characters are my mother Amanda, my sister Laura, and a gentleman Carla who doesn't appear other than the final scenes of the show. He's the most realistic character in the show, being an emissary from a world that we will somehow set apart from. And there's a fifth character in the show who doesn't appear other than a portrait hanging on the wall. And when you see the picture of this grinning gentleman, please remember that he was our father who left us a long time ago. He was a telephone man who fell in love with long distance, and so one day he packed up his bags and skipped the lot fantastic out of town. See, the last we heard from him was a postcard from the Pacific coast of Mexico, containing 2 lines. Hello, goodbye, no return address.
You know, Laura, I had the funniest experience in church last Sunday. The church was crowded except for one pew way down front, and it was just one tiny little old woman. Now, I smiled very sweetly at her and I said, "Excuse me, do you mind if I share this pew?" "I certainly would," she said. "This space is rented." Now, do you know that this is the first time I knew that the Lord rented space? I mean, these northern Episcopalians, I can understand the southern ones, but these northern ones, no. Oh, honey, don't push your food with your fingers. If you have to push your food, the thing to use is a crust of bread. You must chew your food. Chew. You know, animals have secretions in their stomach which enable them to digest their food without mastication, but we human beings must chew our food and chew. Oh, eat leisurely. A well-cooked meal has many delicate flavors which have to be held in the mouth for appreciation, not just gulped down. Chew.
Mother, it's you with your hawk-like attention that makes me hurry through my meals. It's disgusting, all this talk of mastication and salivary glands.
Bill, temperament like a metropolitan star. You are not excused from this table.
I'm grabbing a cigarette.
You smoke too much. I'll bring you the coffee. Oh no, you sit down. You be the pretty lady and I'll be the color boy today. But I'm already up. Well, resume your seat. You keep yourself fresh and pretty for all those gentlemen callers.
I'm not expecting any gentlemen callers.
The nice thing about them is they come when we're least expected. Why, I remember one Sunday afternoon in Blue Mountain when your mother was a girl.
I know what's coming now.
Yes, but let her tell it.
Again?
She loves to tell it. I remember one Sunday afternoon in Blue Mountain when your mother was a girl, she received 17 gentlemen callers. Oh, it was lovely. You know, there weren't enough folding chairs to accommodate them all. We had to send the color boy over to fetch some folding chairs.
And how did you entertain all those gentlemen callers?
Well, I happen to understand the art of conversation.
Oh, I bet you could talk.
Well, of course I could. All the girls in my day could, I tell you.
Yes?
We know how to entertain our gentlemen callers. Was it enough for a girl to have a pretty face or a graceful figure? Although I was not slighted in either respect. She had to have a nimble wit and a tongue to meet all occasions.
And what did you talk about?
Well, we would talk about things of importance going on in the world. Never anything common or coarse or vulgar. Now, my callers were gentlemen all, some of the most prominent men on the Mississippi Delta. Planters and sons of planters. Why, there was young Champ Laughlin. He later became vice president of the Delta Planters Bank. And Hadley Stevenson. Oh, but he died in Moon Lake. Left his widow well provided for, I think $150,000 in government bonds. And there were the Couturier brothers, Wesley and Bates. You know, Bates was one of my own bright particular beaux. He shot it out on the floor of Moon Lake Casino with that wild Wainwright boy. Died in the ambulance on the way to Memphis. He also left his widow well provided for, I think 8 or 10,000 acres. He never loved that woman. She just caught him on the rebound. My picture was found on him the night that he died. Oh, and there was that young boy that every girl was setting her cap for, that beautiful, brilliant young Fitzhugh boy from Greene County.
And what did he leave his widow?
He never married. What is the matter with you? You're going on as though all my old admirers turned their toes up to the daisy.
Well, isn't this the first one that you mentioned that still survives?
No, he made an awful lot of money. He moved up north to Wall Street and made a fortune. This boy had the Midas touch. Everything he touched just turned to gold. And to think, I could have been Mrs. J. Duncan Fitzhugh, mind you. What did I do? I went out of my way and picked your father.
Mother, let me clear the table.
Oh, no, you just study your typewriting chart, or maybe practice your shorthand a little. You just keep yourself fresh and pretty for those gentlemen callers. How many we expected today?
I don't believe we'll receive any, Mother.
Oh, my Annie, you're not playing. You must be joking. Is something the matter? Is there a flood or a tornado or something?
It isn't a flood. It's not a tornado, Mother. I'm just not popular like you are in Blue Mountain. Mother's afraid that I'm gonna be an old maid. I was just...
Practicing your typewriting, I suppose.
Yes.
Deception, deception, deception.
How was the DAR meeting, Mother?
DAR meeting?
Didn't you go to the DAR meeting?
No. No, I didn't go to any DAR meeting. I didn't have the strength. No, I didn't have the courage. You see, I just wanted to find a hole in the ground and crawl in it and stay in there the rest of my entire life.
Well, Mother, why'd you do that?
Why? Why, how old are you, Laura?
Mother, you know my age.
I thought you were an adult, but evidently I was very much mistaken.
Mother, please don't stare at me.
What are we going to do now? What is left for us? What is the future?
Mother, has something happened? Mother, has something happened?
Oh, I'll be all right in a minute. I am just bewildered by life.
Mother, you tell me what's happened.
I was on my way to the DAR this morning. As you know, I was to be inducted as an officer. And I stopped off at Rubicane's Business College to tell them about your cold and to see how you were progressing down there. Oh, yes. Oh. You know, I went straight to your typing instructor and I introduced myself as your mother, and she had no idea who you were. Wakefield, she said. We have no such scholar enrolled in this school. But I told her she did. I said, my daughter Laura has been coming here since early January. Well, no, she said, unless you mean that terribly shy girl who dropped out after a few days' attendance. No, I don't mean that one. I mean my daughter Laura, who's been coming here every single day since early January. Well, excuse me, she said, and she went to her little attendance book, and there was your name, unmistakable printed, and all of the dates you had been absent. I still told her she was wrong. I still said there must be some mistake. There must be some mix-up in the records. Well, no, she said. I remember her now. She was so shy that her hands trembled. They couldn't even touch the right keys. When we gave her a speed test, she just broke down completely. Got so sick she had to be carried to the washroom. And ever since then, we never saw her again. We telephoned the house every single day and never received any answer. And you know, that is while I was working those long hours down at the department store demonstrating those. Oh, I was so weak I could not stand. I had to sit while they got me a glass of water. $50 tuition. Now, I don't care so much about the money, but all of my hopes and dreams of you having any kind of future just gone up the spout. Just gone up the spout like that.
been going out walking.
That is not true.
Yes, it is, Mother. I just been going out walking.
Walking, deliberately courting pneumonia in that light coat. Where were you walking to, Laura?
All sorts of places, mostly the park.
Even after you caught that coat.
It was the lesser of two evils, Mother. I couldn't go back. I threw up on the floor.
From 7:30 until 5 every day, you need to tell me you went walking around the park to make me believe that you were going to Robocam's business college.
Mother, it wasn't as bad as it sounds. I went inside places to get warmed up.
Inside where?
I went to the art museum and visited birdhouses at the zoo. I visited penguins almost every day. Sometimes I did without money for lunch and went to the movies. Lately I've been spending most of my afternoons in the jewel box, the big glass house where they raise the tropical flowers.
You did all of that to deceive me, just for deception. Why?
Mother, when you get disappointed, you get that awful suffering look on your face like Jesus' mother in the museum.
Oh, hush!
I couldn't face it. I couldn't.
What are we gonna do now? Just gonna sit in this house and watch the parades go by? Amuse ourselves with the Glass Menagerie? Or play those worn-out records that your father left us as a painful reminder? We can't have a business. No, we just can't do that. That just gives us indigestion. What is there left for us now but dependency all of our lives? Now, I tell you, Laura, I know so well it happens to women who are not prepared to occupy a position in life. I have seen such pitiful cases in the South. Unmarried spinsters living off of some brother's wife or a sister's husband, living in a mousetrap of a room, and then encouraged by one-in-law to go on and visit the next like little bird-like women without any nest, eating the crust of humility all of their lives. Is that the future that we have mapped out for ourselves? Because I don't see any other alternative, and I don't think that's a very pleasant alternative. Of course, some girls do end up marrying some nice young men, but my goodness, Laura, haven't you ever liked some boy?
Yes, Mother. I liked one once.
Oh, you did?
Came across his picture a while ago.
He gave you his picture too?
No. It was in the yearbook.
A high school boy?
Yes. His name was Jim. Here he is, in the Pirates of Penzance.
What?
The operatic senior class put on. He had a wonderful voice. We sit across the aisle from each other in the auditoriums Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Here he is with the silver cup for debating. See his grin?
So he had a grin too.
He used to call me Blue Roses.
Blue roses. Now what do you call you a silly name like that for?
Well, it was after I had that attack of pleurosis, and he asked me what the matter was when I came back. I said pleurosis, but he thought I said blue roses, so that's what he always used to call me after that. Whenever he saw me, he'd holler, "Hello, Blue Roses!" Never did much care for the girl he went out with. Emily Meisenberg. Oh, Emily was the best dressed girl I saw then, but she never struck me as being sincere. I read once in the newspaper that they were engaged. That's a long time ago. They're probably married right now.
That is all right. It does not matter now. You know, some girls who are not ready to have a position in business end up marrying some nice young man. And I'm going to see that you do just that too.
But Mother,
Good. You sit down.
I'm crippled.
Don't use that word. How many times have I told you never to use that word? You are not crippled. You're just got a slight defect. You know, if you were going my day with those long, graceful skirts that touch the ground, it would have been considered an asset. You've got a slight disadvantage. You've just got to cultivate something else to take its place. You've got to cultivate charm, or vivacity, or charm. You know, that is what your father had plenty of. He had charm.
After the fiasco at Rupert Cam's business college, the idea of getting a gentleman collar began to play a more and more important part in my mother's calculations. It became an obsession. Like some archetype of the universal unconscious, the image of the gentleman collar began to haunt our small apartment. An evening at home rarely passed by without some allusion to this image, this specter, this hope. And even when he wasn't mentioned, he hung in my mother's preoccupied look and in my sister's frightened, apologetic manner. He hung like a sentence pressed upon the wing fields. But my mother, she was a woman of action as well as words, and realizing that money would be needed to properly feather the nest and plume the bird, she began a vigorous campaign on the telephone, roping in subscribers to one of those magazines for matrons called the Homemaker's Companion. It was one of those journals that featured the serialized sublimations of ladies of letters who think in terms of delicate, cup-like breasts, slim, tapering waists, rich, creamy thighs, eyes like wood smoke in them, fingers that soothe and caress like soft strains of music, bodies as powerful as Etruscan sculpture.
Ida Scott. Ida, this is Amanda Wingfield. We missed you the day off last Monday. Oh, I want to know, how is your sinus condition doing? You are just a Christian martyr. That's what you are. You are a Christian martyr. Well, I noticed that your subscription to the Companion is just about to run out when that wonderful new serial by Bessie May Harper is starting up. It's all about the horse he sent on Long Island, and his debutante is taking her horses over the jumps at the regatta. Now her spine is injured, and well, that's what the horse did. He stepped on her. Well, anyway, her spine is injured, and there's only one doctor in the entire world who can keep her from being completely paralyzed, and that is the man that she is engaged to be married to. He is tall, and he's blonde, and he's handsome, and oh no, he's not perfect. Oh, of course he has a weakness. He has the most terrible weakness in the world. He just drinks too much. Well, and then there's... Oh, well, I can just wait while you take him out of the oven. Why, that woman! You know what she did? She hung up on me!
Tom's trying to right.
Oh, so he is. So he is now.
Now, what are you up to?
I am just trying to save your eyesight. You've only got one pair of eyes, and you have got to take care of them. Now, Milton was blind, but that is not what made him a genius.
Mother, can you please let me be? I'm trying to write here.
Why can't you sit up straight so your shoulders
Mother!
don't stick out like sparrow wings?
Mother, can you please go busy yourself with something else? I'm trying to do my writing.
Oh, you know, I've seen a medical chart, and I know what sitting like that does to your internal organs. Your stomach presses against your lungs press against your heart, and that poor little heart gets so discouraged that it cannot go on beating for you anymore.
What in hell am I supposed to
Don't talk
do?
me like that. What is the matter with you? Have you lost your sense?
Yes, I have. You've driven them out of me.
What is the matter with you, you big idiot?
Look, Mother, I haven't a thing, not a single thing in this house I can call my own.
Oh, what your voice.
Yesterday, you confiscated my books. You had
Yes,
the
I
nerve.
did. I took that awful book back to that library. That awful book by that insane Mr. Lawrence. I cannot control the output of a diseased mind or people who cater to them, but I will not have that filth in my house. No, no, no.
House? Who pays the bills on this house, Mother? Who makes
How
a
dare
slave
you
of
talk
himself?
to me like that?
Oh, no, I mustn't talk at all. I've got to keep quiet and let you do all the talking.
And let me tell you
No,
something.
I don't want to hear it.
Oh, you will hear more.
I'm going out.
You will listen to me talk.
seems unimportant what I'm doing here, what I'm trying to do. Having a difference between them. You don't think that.
No, I think you're doing things that you are ashamed of, and that is why you act like this. I don't believe that you go to the movies every night. No. Nobody goes to the movies as often as you pretend to. Nobody in their right minds goes to the movies as often as you do. People don't go to the movies at nearly midnight, and movies do not let out at 2 a.m. You come in stumbling, muttering to yourself like a maniac, and then you get 3 hours sleep and you go to work. I can just picture the way you are doing down there. You are moping, doping, because you're in no condition.
Oh, that is true. That is very true. I am in no condition.
How dare you jeopardize your job, jeopardize our security? How do you think we're
Look,
living?
Mother! Do you think I'm crazy about the warehouse? You think I love Continental Shoemaker? You think I want to spend the next 55 years of my life in that Celotex interior with fluorescent light bulbs? Honest to God, Mother, I'd rather have somebody pick up a crowbar and batter my brains out than go back in mornings, but I go. Sure, I go. Every time you go yelling that bloody rise and shine, I think, how lucky dead people are. I go for $65 a month. I give up everything that I ever dreamed of doing and being ever. You say that is all I think of? Why, self all I thought of, Mother, I'd be where he is. Gone. As far as the system of transportation reaches. Please don't grab at me, Mother.
I am not grabbing at you. I'm wondering the way you're going.
I'm going to the movies.
I don't believe that lie.
No? Well, for once in your life, you're right. I'm not going to the movies, Mother. I'm going to the opium dens. Yes, the opium dens. Dens of vice and criminal hangouts. See, I've joined the Hogan gang, Mother. I carry a Tommy gun and a violin case. And I run a string of cat houses in the valley. See, they call me Killer Wingfield. I'm really leading a double life. See, by day I'm a simple, honest warehouse worker, but at night, I'm a dynamic czar of the underworld. See, I go to gambling casinos and I gamble away a fortune on the roulette tables. See, sometimes I wear a false eye patch and a false mustache. Sometimes I wear green whiskers. Now on those occasions, Mother, they call me El Diablo. See, one of these nights, my enemies they're gonna dynamite this place. One of these nights, they're gonna blow us off sky high. And will I be happy? Will I be glad? And so will you. See, you'll go up over the Blue Mountains on a broomstick with 17 gentlemen callers. You ugly old babbling witch!
My Glass Menagerie! I will never speak to you again as long as you live unless you apologize to me!
One crack, and it falls through.
Tom, what are you doing?
I'm looking for my door key.
Where have you been all this time?
I've been at the movies.
All this time at the movies?
Well, it was a very long program. You see, there was a Mickey Mouse and a Garbo picture and a travelogue and a newsreel and there was a collection for the milk fund and an organ show simultaneously, which ended in a very big fight between a very large lady and an usher.
stay through everything.
Well, of course. Oh, and I nearly forgot. There was a stage show. See, the headliner was Malvolio the magician. He performed the most wonderful tricks, such as taking 2 pitchers and taking water and pouring them between them. And at first it turned to wine, and then it turned to beer, and then it turned to whiskey. See, I know that it was whiskey that it finally turned to because he needed volunteers from the audience, and well, I went up for both shows. He was a very generous fellow. He gave souvenirs. See, this is his magic scarf. You can have it, Lauren. See, you take it and you get a bowl of goldfish, and you get a cage of canaries, and you take the bowl of goldfish and you wave it over the goldfish, and they fly away, canaries. But the most wonderfulest trick of all was the coffin trick. See, he had us nail him up into a coffin, and then I don't know the coffin, but out removing one single nail. Now there's a trick that come in handy in this 2x4 situation.
Oh,
What are you shushing me for?
wake up, Mother.
Good, get it back for all those rise and shines. You know, Laura, it doesn't take too much intelligence to get yourself nailed up into a coffin, but who ever heard of anybody getting out of one without removing one single nail?
Tom, it's nearly 7. Don't make Mother nervous. Tom, will you speak to Mother this morning? Make up with her. Apologize. Speak to her.
It's her that's not speaking to me.
If you just say you're sorry, she'll start speaking.
Is her not speaking really such a bad thing?
Please, please.
Laura, are you going to go? You have to get dressed and go out myself.
Going. As soon as I get on my coat. Butter and what else?
Just butter. Tell them to charge it.
Mother, they make such faces when I ask them to do that.
Well, sticks and stones can break our bones, but the look on Mr. Garfinkel's face won't harm us. I'll tell your brother his coffee is getting cold.
Do what I asked you. Will you? Will you, Tom?
Laura, go now or don't go at all.
Going.
Laura!
I'm all right. I slipped, but I'm all right.
You know, I tell you, if somebody falls and breaks a leg on that fire escape, the landlord ought to be sued for... Well, who are you?
I apologize, Mother. I didn't mean all those things I said. I'm sorry.
Well, my devotion to my children has made me a witch, and so I make myself hateful to my children.
You don't.
I get so nervous. I don't sleep at night. I worry so much.
I understand that.
You know, I have had to put up a solitary battle
I promise, Mother, I won't ever become a drunkard, Mother.
That's what frightened me, so that you'd be drinking. Now, eat a bowl of Purina.
No, just coffee, Mother.
Shred a wheat biscuit.
No, just coffee.
You can't put in a full day's work without eating something. Oh, don't gulp that. Drinking 2 hot liquids makes cancer of the stomach. Now put some cream in.
No, I want it black.
What's a Kool-Aid?
No! No thanks.
You know, these trying times, we've got to do everything we can to take care of ourselves. All that we have to cling to is each other. You know, Tom, I sent your sister out so I could discuss something with you. If you hadn't spoken, I would have said something first.
What about?
Laura.
Oh, Laura.
She's so quiet, but still water runs deep. I think she notices things and she broods about them. You know, I came home one day and I saw her crying.
What about?
You.
Me?
She thinks you're unhappy.
And now what gave her that idea?
Well, it gives her any idea, although you do act strangely. I'm not criticizing, understand that. I know that, like everybody else in the world, you've had to make sacrifices and that your ambitions do not lie in the warehouse, but Tom, life is not easy. It calls for spot and endurance. You know, there are so many things in my heart that I just cannot describe to you. I never told you this, but I did love your father.
I know that, Mother.
And I see you taking after his ways, gone all hours, and you were drinking that night you were in that terrifying condition. Now, Laura says that you go out at night to get away from the apartment because you hate it. Is that true, Tom?
No. Look, Mother, you see that there's so much in your heart that you can't describe to me. Well, that's true about me, too. See, there's so much in my heart that I can't
Tom.
describe.
Why are you so restless? Where do you go to at nights?
I go to the movies.
But, Tom, why do you go to the movies so much?
I go to the movies because I like adventure. See, adventure is something I don't get much of at work, so I go to the movies.
Tom, you go to the movies entirely too much.
Well, I like a lot of adventure.
Most people find adventure in their careers.
Well, then most people do not work at the warehouse.
Oh, they work in warehouses and offices and factories.
And do all of them find adventures in their careers?
They do, or they do without it. Not everybody has a craze for adventure.
Look, Mother, man is by instinct a lover, a hunter, a fighter. And none of those instincts get any play at the warehouse.
Man is by instinct. Don't quote instinct to me. Instinct is something that we have left behind. Only animals want instincts. Christian adults don't want anything to do with it.
And what do Christian adults want then?
Superior things, things of the mind and the spirit. Only animals have to satisfy instincts, and surely your aims are somewhat higher than man's, than monkeys, than pigs.
Well, I reckon they're not.
You're joking. This is not what I want to discuss with you.
Mother, I haven't any time for
Well, you
this.
have 5 minutes. Sit down.
Do you want me to punch in red at the warehouse?
I want to talk about Laura.
All right. What about Laura?
It is time that we make some plans and provisions for her. She's older than you, not by much, and still nothing has come her way. She just drifts along doing absolutely nothing. Terrifies me so how she just drifts along.
I suppose she's the type that people call a home girl.
There is no such type, and if there is, it should be a home of her own with a husband.
What?
Well, I can see the handwriting on the wall as plain as I see the nose in front of my face. More and more, you remind me of your father. It's terrifying. Gone all hours, and then just left, and me with the bag to hold. You know, I saw that letter that you got from the Merchant Marine. Yes, I know what you're doing. I'm not standing here blindfolded. Yeah, they're willing. You can go, but not until there's somebody to take your place.
What do you mean?
I mean that as soon as Laura has got a home of her own, married, independent, then you are free to go wherever you please, on land, on sea, whichever way the wind blows you. But until that time, you have got to look out for your sister. I don't mean me because I am old and dramatic. I say for your sister because she is young and dependent. I put her in business school, a dismal failure. Made her sick that she broke down completely. And then I took her to the Young People's League, another fiasco. She spoke to nobody, and nobody spoke to her. Now all she does is play with those glass figurines on those worn-out records. I mean, what kind of life is that for a girl to lead?
What can I do about it?
Overcome selfishness. Self is all good to think of. Well, Tom, where are you going? Put your wool muffler on. Tom, I didn't get to discuss with you what I wanted to.
Mother, I haven't time for any
Now,
of it.
down at the warehouse, aren't there some nice young men?
No!
Oh, there must be some.
Mother!
Now just find one that's clean living, does not drink, and ask him out for sister.
What?
To meet sister, get
Oh my
acquainted.
gosh.
Well, will you? Will you? Will you, Tom? Ella Cartwright. Ella, this is Amanda Wingfield. We missed you the day out last Monday. Oh, well, I want to know, how is your kidney doing? Oh, it has. Well, you are just a Christian martyr. That's what you are. You are a Christian martyr. Well, I've noticed that your subscription to The Companion is just about to run out when that wonderful new serial by Bessie May Harper is starting up. It's all about the horse he set on Long Island, and a debutante is... Oh, you've already read it? Well, how do you think it turns out? Oh, no, Bessie May Harper never leaves you hanging. Oh, of course there are complications. Every story has to have them. Why, Ellie, you sound so angry. Oh, because I'm calling at 7 in the morning? Because you never wake up before 9 in the morning. Oh, I forgot that anybody can wake up so late. Well, all I can say is that I'm sorry. Oh, you will still take that subscription. Oh, well, thank you, Ella. Bless you, bless you, bless you.
Across the alley was the Paradise Dance Hall. Now in evenings in spring, they'd open up all the doors and windows and music would come out. And then sometimes they turned down all the lights except for one large glass sphere that turned about and filtered the dusk of these delicate rainbow colors. And then the orchestra would play a waltz or a tango, something that had a slow and sensuous rhythm. And then the young folks, they'd come out to the relative privacy of the alley, and you could see them kissing behind ash pits and telephone poles. This was the compensation for lives that passed like mine, without change or adventure. But change and adventure were imminent this year. They were waiting around the corner for all those dancing kids, suspended in the mist over Berkshire's garden, and caught in the folds of Chamberlain's umbrella. In Spain, there was Guernica. Here, there was only hot swing music and liquor and bars and sex that hung in the gloom like a chandelier, flooded the world with these brief, deceptive frames. All the while, those kids were dancing to "Dear One, the World Waits for the Sunrise." All the world was really waiting for was bombardments.
Tom, where are you?
I'm out on the terrace having a smoke.
You smoke too much. How much would that be in a month? 15 cents a pack times 30 days. Well, it wouldn't be much, but would help towards an night course at the Washington U. Wouldn't that be lovely?
I'd rather smoke.
Well, that's just the tragedy of you. This fire escape landing is a poor excuse for the front porch we used to have. Now, what are you looking at?
The moon.
Is there a moon out this evening?
It's rising right over there over Garfinkel's delicatessen.
Oh, so it is! A tiny little silver sliver of a moon. Well, have you made a wish on it?
Mm-hmm.
And what did you wish for?
Well, that's a secret.
Right, I won't tell you what I wish for either. I can be just as mysterious as you.
I bet I can guess what you wish for.
Why is my head transparent?
No Sphinx.
No, I'm not. I'll tell you what I wish for. I wish for happiness and good fortune for my 2 children. You know, I wish for that every time I see a moon, and even when there isn't one, I still make that wish.
See, now, I would have guessed that you wish for a gentleman collar.
Why do you say that?
Well, hasn't it been you that's been asking me to go fetch one?
Oh, I think I said it would be nice for your sister if you brought some nice young men from the warehouse, but I think I made that suggestion more than once.
Oh, yes, you have made it repeatedly.
Well?
We're gonna have one.
What?
A gentleman collar?
Oh, you mean you asked somebody?
I did.
And did he accept?
He did.
He did?
He did.
Well, isn't that lovely?
I thought that you'd be pleased.
Oh, well, so it's definite then.
Oh, very definite.
Well, how soon?
Pretty soon.
How soon?
Quite soon.
How soon?
Very soon.
Anytime I want to find something out, you'll go on acting like this.
All right. What do you want to know?
Oh, go ahead and guess. Go ahead and guess.
All right, I'll guess. You want to know when the gentleman collar's coming. It's coming tomorrow.
Tomorrow? Oh no, I can't do anything about that. I cannot do anything about tomorrow.
And why not?
Because it doesn't give me any time.
Time for what?
Time for preparations. Oh, you should have phoned me the minute you
Look,
asked
Mother,
me.
this boy is nobody to make a fuss over.
I don't see how you can say that. I cannot have a man coming into a place that's all sloppy. It's got to be thrown together properly. I've certainly got some fast thinking to do before tomorrow night, too.
I don't see why you have to think at all.
Well, that's because you just don't know. You just don't know, that's all. I cannot have a man coming into a place that's a pigsty. Now, let's see. I've got those 3 pieces of wedding silver left. I can have that polished up. And I wonder how that old lace tablecloth is doing after all these years. Oh, we haven't got it.
Mother, this boy is nobody to make a fuss over.
Oh, I don't see how you can say that when this is the first gentleman caller your sister has ever had. You know, I think it's pathetic that little girl has never had any gentleman callers. Now, come on inside.
Now, what for?
I want to ask you a few things.
Look, Mother, if you're gonna keep going on, I'll call up this boy and tell him not to come.
No, you mustn't ever do that. People hate broken engagements. They've got no place to go. Now, come on inside. Come on inside. Oh, you come inside when I ask you to come inside. Come on. Now, sit down.
Any particular place you want me to sit?
Sit anywhere you like. Oh, have you ever seen anything look so sad? Oh, I know. I'll get a bright piece of cretonne to cover that up. That'll do nicely. And I just made some payments on new lanterns. Oh, I wish I had time to paper the walls. Now, what is his name?
His name is O'Connor.
O'Connor. So he's Irish, and tomorrow is Friday, which means fish. Well, that's all right. I'll make a nice salmon loaf with some mayonnaise dressing. Now, where did you meet this Mr. O'Connor?
At the warehouse, of course. Where else would I meet him?
I don't know. Does he drink?
Now, what made you ask that question?
Because your father did.
Now, please don't get started on that again.
He drinks.
No, and not that I know of.
Well, you have got to find out. There's nothing I want less for my daughter than a man who drinks.
Aren't you being a little bit premature? After all, Mr. O'Connor hasn't even appeared on the scene yet.
Well, he will tomorrow to meet your sister. And what do I know about his character?
Now, what are you doing?
No, I never understand why that Callie won't stay there.
Mother,
No.
just one thing, Mother. And I mean this from the bottom of my heart. There are a lot of boys who meet a lot of girls that they don't end up marrying.
You know, you always have me worried because you could never stick to a subject. I want to know more about this Mr. O'Connor. What is his position at the warehouse?
He's a shipping clerk.
Oh, yeah, that's something. That's where you'd be if you had more get up. Now, how much does he earn?
I have no way of knowing that. I gauge his salary to be roughly $85 a month.
$85 a month? That is not princely.
It's $20 more than I make.
Oh, I know that. How well I know that. How well I know that. $85 a month won't do. A family man cannot get by on $85 a month.
Mother, Mr. O'Connor is not a family man.
Well, might he be someday?
I see. Lands and provisions.
You know, you are the only young man I know who neglects the fact that the future becomes the present the past, and the past turns into everlasting regret if you don't plan for it.
With take that into consideration and see what I can make of it.
Oh, don't be supercilious with your mother. Now, tell me more about this Mr. O'Connor. He has to have another name besides Mr. O'Connor.
His full name is James D. O'Connor. The D stands for Delaney.
Delaney. Irish on both sides, and he doesn't drink.
All right. You want me to call him up and find out?
No.
See, I'll call him up and tell him you want to know whether he drinks or not.
No, you mustn't ever do that. You have to be discreet about the subject. You know, when I was a girl in Blue Mountain, and if it was ever suspected that a gentleman was drinking, and if he was receiving the attentions of a girl, if he was receiving the attentions of that girl, then she would have to go to the minister of his church and ask about his character. If her father was still around, then he would go to the minister of his church and ask about his character. And that is how young girls were kept from making tragic mistakes in Blue Mountain.
And, how come you made such a tragedy?
Well, I don't know how your father did it, but he just fooled everybody. All he had to do was grin, and the world was bewitched. Although I think there's nothing more tragic than a girl just putting herself with the appearance of a handsome man. And I hope Mr. O'Connor's not too good looking.
Oh, no, I'd rather say he isn't. He's got a very large nose and quite a few freckles.
Oh, he's not right down homely.
Oh, no, not right down homely. A medium homely, I'd say.
If a girl had any common sense, she'd look for a man's character anyhow.
Yes, well, that's what I've always said.
Oh, that's what you've always said. How could you have always said it when you have never even thought?
Oh, don't be so suspicious of me.
I'm suspicious of every word that comes out of your mouth. Tell me more about this Mr. O'Connor. Is he up and coming?
Well, yes, I'd rather do say he goes in for self-improvement.
What do you mean by that?
Well, he's taking night courses.
Oh, yeah, what is he studying?
Radio engineering and public speaking.
Oh, public speaking. Well, that shows that he intends to be an executive someday. And radio engineering, well, I guess that's up and coming.
I think it's already here.
These are all very illuminating facts. Facts that every mother should know about any gentleman calling on her daughter, seriously or not.
Just one thing, Mother. I didn't tell Jim about Laura. I didn't let on that we have darker ulterior motives. I simply said, how about coming over for dinner? And he said fine, and that was the whole conversation.
And I bet it was too. You know, you can be as eloquent as an oyster sometimes. But when that gentleman comes and sees how pretty Laura is, well, he is going to be delighted that he was invited to dinner.
Just one more thing, Mother. You won't expect too much of Laura, will you?
I don't know what you mean by that.
Well, see, Laura seems all those things to us because she's ours and we love her, but we don't even realize that she's crippled anymore.
Don't use that word.
Mother, you have to face facts. She is, and that's not all.
What do you mean that's not all?
Mother, to others, Laura, she's different from other girls.
Yes, and I think that difference is all in her advantage too.
Not all in her advantage. You see, to others, to strangers, she seems a little peculiar.
Don't use that word peculiar.
Mother, she is.
I don't know in what way she's peculiar.
She lives in a world of glass trinkets and she plays a Victrola and that's about all.
Laura! Yes, Mother? Oh, Laura, come out front and let those dishes go! Laura, come here and make a wish on the moon.
Moon? Moon?
Yes, a tiny little silver sliver of moon. Come on now. Go on and make a wish on the moon.
What should I wish for, Mother?
Happiness. And just a little bit of good fortune, too.
And so, the following evening, Jim came home for dinner. See, I had known Jim slightly in high school. In high school, Jim was a hero. See, he had this tremendous Irish good nature and vitality with a scrubbed and polished look of white china. See, Jim was the star of the basketball team and captain in debating and president of the class and the glee club. And Jim was the male lead in all the annual light operas. See, Jim was always running or bounding, never simply just walking. He always seemed right at the point of defying gravity. He was traveling with such a velocity through his adolescence that one would just naturally assume that he'd reached nothing short of the White House by the time he was 30. But Jim had more interference after high school because his speed had definitely slowed. So at this particular point in his life, he was holding a job that wasn't much better than my own. And Jim was the only one that I was on friendly terms with at the warehouse. See, I was important to Jim as somebody who could remember those former glory days, who could remember the wins for the basketball team and the silver cup in the baby. And Jim, he knew my secret habit of retiring to the washroom whenever business was slack to write poetry. He called me Shakespeare. And while all the other boys regarded me with suspicious hostility, Jim took a more humorous attitude. And eventually his attitude wore off on the other boys, and soon they were smiling at me too, as one smiles at an oddly shaped dog that trots across the path at some distance. But now I knew that Laura had known Jim in high school because I remember her speaking admirably of his singing voice. But I didn't know if Jim remembered Laura. For, see, Laura had been as unobtrusive as Jim had been astonishing. And if he did remember Laura, it wasn't as my sister. But when I invited him over to dinner, he said, "A funny thing, Shakespeare. I never thought of you as having folks." Well, I was about to find out that I did.
Now, why are you trembling, Laura?
Mother, you make me so nervous.
And how have I made you nervous?
By all this fuss, you make it seem so important.
I don't understand you. Anytime I try to do something that is the least bit different, you seem to set yourself against it immediately. Now, come on. Oh, wait, I forgot something. Just a couple of improvements.
What is it?
You know, when I was a girl, we had these round little lacy things, and we called them gay deceivers.
I won't wear them.
Oh, of course you'll wear them.
Why should I?
Well, to tell you the truth, honey, you are just a little bit flat-chested.
Mother, you make it seem like we were setting a trap.
Oh, well, that's because we are. All pretty girls are trapped, and all men expect them to be. Now, come and take a look at yourself in that glass. Oh, you look just lovely, like an angel on a postcard. Now, I'm going to get myself all dressed up, and you are going to be astonished at your mother's appearance. You know, I found this old dress in the trunk, but it was so awfully tired, it broke my heart when I had to let it go. Come and take a look at me now, Laura. Come and take a look at me.
Oh, Mother, you look so lovely.
Oh, it used to be. It used to be. You know, it had an awful lot of flowers on it. I got so awfully tired, I had to take them off. You know, I led the cotillion in this dress years ago. And I wore it to the cakewalk in Sunset Hill. And I wore it to the governor's ball in Jackson. Oh, it was lovely. You should have seen your mother, how she just sashayed around the room like this. Oh. You know, I wore this dress the night I met your father. I had malaria fever, too. Change of climate from East Tennessee to the Delta weakened my resistance, but not enough to be dangerous, just enough to make me restless and giddy. Oh, it was lovely. Invitations poured in from all over, and my mother, she said to me, "You cannot go out because you have a fever." And I said, "That's quite all right. I just took some quinine and kept on going." It was wonderful. Long evenings in the bush that country's so lovely and made, just simply laced with dogwood and flooded with jonquils. Oh, I love jonquils. You know, anytime I'd see them, I'd stop and say, "Oh, pick me some jonquils." My mother said, "You cannot bring in any more jonquils in this house." And I said, "I will." Tell you the truth, Laura, it got to be kind of a funny joke. All my gentleman callers would say, "Look out, here comes that girl, and she'll make us pick her jonquils." And I did. Oh, it was lovely. My mother said, "You cannot bring in any more jonquils. There aren't enough bases to hold them." And I said, "That is quite all right. I can just hold them myself." Malaria fever, your father, and jonquils. I think it's going to start to rain. Well, I gave your brother a little extra change so he and Mr. O'Connor can take the service car home.
Oh, Mother,
And what is it now?
what did you say his name was?
O'Connor, why?
What was his first name?
Oh, I don't remember. Oh, yes, I do too. It was Jim.
Oh, Mother, not Jim O'Connor.
Oh, yes, that was it. It was Jim. You know, I've never known a Jim that wasn't nice.
Are you sure that was his name?
Why, sure. I'm sure. Why?
Is he the one that Tom used to know in high school?
I don't know. I think he met him down at the warehouse.
There was a Jim O'Connor we both knew in high school. If that is the one that Tom is bringing home to dinner, you'll have to excuse me, Mother, but I wouldn't come to the table.
Oh, what is this? What sort of silly talk is this?
Don't you remember? You asked me if I ever liked the boy. Don't you remember I showed you that boy's picture?
You mean that boy in the yearbook?
Yes, that boy.
Why, Laura, were you in love with that boy?
I don't know. All I know is that I couldn't come to the table if it was him.
Oh, it won't be him. It isn't the least bit likely. But whether it is or not, you will come to the table. You will not be excused.
But Mother, I have to be.
I don't intend to humor your silliness, Laura. You and your brother have given me enough today. So why don't you just sit down and compose yourself until they arrive? Oh, I forgot one more thing. Your brother has forgotten his keys, so you'll have to let them in when they arrive.
Oh, Mother, please, you go to the door.
How can I when I haven't even finished making the mayonnaise dressing for the salmon?
Oh, Mother, please answer the door. Don't let me do it.
Honey, do be reasonable. And what is all this fuss about? It is just one gentleman caller, that's all. Just one. Laura, sweetheart, the door!
Oh, Mother, please, you go to the door.
What is the matter with you, you silly thing?
Oh, Mother, please, you answer it, please.
Why have you chosen this moment to lose your mind? You go to that door!
I can't.
Why can't you?
Because I'm sick.
You're sick? Am I sick? You and your brother have me puzzled to death. You can never act like normal children. Can you give me one good reason why you should be afraid to open a door? You go to that door, Lord Wingfield. You march straight to that door.
Yes, Mother.
I've got to encourage you, honey, for living.
Laura? Laura, this is Jim. Jim, this is my sister Laura.
Well, I didn't know that Shakespeare had a sister. How are you, Laura?
How do you do?
Well, I'm okay. Your hand's cold, Laura.
Yes, well, I've been playing the Victrola.
Must have been playing some classical music on it. You ought to play a little hot swing to warm me up. What's the matter?
Oh, Laura, she's terribly shy.
Shy, huh? No, it's unusual to meet a shy girl nowadays. I don't believe you ever mentioned you had a sister.
Well, now you know what to do. You want a piece of the paper?
Mm-hmm.
Comics?
Comics, sports. See that Dizzy Dean's on his bad behavior.
Really?
Where'd you go?
Out on the terrace to have a smoke.
You know, Shakespeare, I'm going to sell you a bill of goods.
What goods?
A course I'm taking.
What course?
A course in public speaking. You know what? You and me, we're not really the warehouse type.
Well, thanks. That's good news. What's a course in public speaking got to do with it?
It fits you for executive positions. Tell you, it's done a hell of a lot for me.
In what regards?
In all regards. Ask yourself, what's the main difference between you and me and the fellas in the office down front? Brains? No. Ability? No. Well, then what? Primarily, it accounts for just one single thing.
And what is that one thing?
Social poise. The ability to square up to somebody and hold your own on any social level.
Tom!
Yes, Mother?
Is that you and Mr. O'Connor?
Yes, Mother.
Well, make yourselves comfortable.
We will.
Ask Mr. O'Connor if he'd like to wash his hands.
Oh, no thanks, ma'am. I already took care of that down at the warehouse. Tom, Mr. Mendoza was speaking to me about you.
Favorably?
What do you think?
Well,
You're going to be out of a job soon if you don't wake up.
I'm waking up.
Yeah, but you show no signs.
See the signs, they're interior. I'm about to make a big change. I'm about to commit myself to a future that doesn't involve the warehouse or Mr. Mendoza or even a night course in public speaking.
Now, what are you gassing about?
Tired of the movies.
The movies?
Yes, the movies. Look at them all. All those glamorous people having all the adventures, hogging it all, gobbling it all up. You know what happens? People go to the movies instead of moving. See, these Hollywood actors are supposed to have all the adventures for everybody in America, and everybody in America is just supposed to sit in a dark room and watch them have it. Yes, until there's a war. Then adventure becomes available to the masses. Everyone's station, not just Gables. See, then the people in the dark rooms, they come out of the dark rooms and they have some adventures of their own. It's our turn to go to the South Sea Islands, to take us afar, to see far off places. But I am not a patient man. I don't want to wait till then. See, I'm tired of the movies and I'm about to move.
Move?
Yes, move.
When?
Soon.
Where?
I'm boiling inside. I know, I seem dreamy, but inside I'm boiling. See, every time I pick up a shoe, I shudder a little inside and think how short life is in it, and what's the point? Whatever that means, I know it isn't shoes, except for something for a traveler to wear on their feet. Here, look.
What?
I'm a man.
The Union Merchant Seaman.
I paid my dues last month instead of the electrical bill.
You'll regret it when they turn off the lights.
I won't be here.
Yeah, but what about your mother?
See, I'm like my father, the bastard son of a bastard. Do you see how he grins? And he's been going 16 years.
Oh, you're just talking, you drip. What does your mother feel about this?
Shh, mother's not acquainted with my plans.
Tom!
Yes, Mother?
Where are you boys?
Out on the terrace.
Well, come on inside.
Wow, my mother. You look so pretty.
You know, that is the first compliment you have ever paid me. I wish you would look pleasant when you're about to say something pleasant so I could at least expect it. Mr. O'Connor.
How do you do?
Well, so this is Mr. O'Connor. Introductions entirely unnecessary. I have heard so much about you from my boy. And finally I said to him, Tom, why don't you bring this paragon over to supper finally so I can meet this nice young man from the warehouse instead of hearing you sing his praises so much. I don't know why my son is so standoffish. That is not Southern behavior. Let's sit down. Oh, I felt a nice fresh breeze a moment ago. Tom, can you leave the door open? Oh, how wonderful. wonder where that breeze has gone to. It is so warm already and not even quite summer. Really gonna burn up when summer hits, but tonight we're having a very light supper. That's what this weather calls for. Light food and light clothes are what this weather calls for. During the winter, our blood gets so thick, it takes a while for our bodies to adjust ourselves, but it's gonna burn up when summer really hits. I was not prepared. I was
Mother?
ready to
What an ad supper?
Yeah, sister is in full charge of supper. Go ask her about it. Tell her you hungry boys are just waiting for it. There, have you met Laura?
Oh, well, she came to the door.
She let you in.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, she's very pretty.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
It's very rare for a girl as sweet and as pretty as Laura to be domestic, but Laura is not only very pretty, she is also very domestic. I never was domestic one bit. I could never make anything but an angel food cake. You see, when I was growing up in the South, we had all of these servants, but now just gone, gone, gone. All vestige of gracious living just gone. I had no idea what the future would bring me. You see, all of my gentlemen callers were planters and sons of planters, so I just assumed that I would marry a planter and raise my family on a large piece of land with all those servants. But you know the old saying, man proposes and woman accepts the proposal. Well, to vary that old saying just a little bit, I married no planter. I married a man who worked for the telephone company. You see that gallantly smiling gentleman over there? Oh, yes. A telephone man who just fell in love with long distance. And now he travels and out of nowhere. But what am I going on for my tribulations for? Tell me yours. I hope you don't have any. Tom!
Yes, Mother?
How about that supper?
Why, the supper's on the table.
Oh, well, so it is. Now, where's Laura?
Laura, she's not feeling too well and thinks that she better not come to.
Laura!
Yes, Mother?
Mr. O'Connor.
Thank you, ma'am.
Laura, we can't say grace until you come to the table.
Oh, Mother, I'm so sorry.
Oh, my goodness, Laura, you are sick. Oh, take a seat on that sofa. Oh, told her it was too hot this evening. Probably cooking over that hot stove all day made her ill. Was she all right now, Tom?
She's better.
Oh, my, it's starting to rain. Well, Tom, you say grace.
What?
What do we usually do before we have something to eat? We say grace.
For these and all thy blessings, God's name be praised.
Mr. O'Connor, I have not had such a pleasant evening in a very long time.
Let me make a toast, Mrs. Wingfield. Here's to the Old South.
The Old South! Oh,
Hey, Mr. Lightbulb.
do you know where Moses was when the lights went out? You know the answer to that, Mr. O'Connor?
No, ma'am. What's the answer to that?
Well, I knew one answer, but it wasn't very pleasant. I was hoping you knew an alternative.
No, ma'am.
I just put these candles out for ornamentation, but it's nice when they prove useful too.
Yes, ma'am.
But if one of you can provide me with a match so we can have some illumination.
Oh, I can, ma'am.
Wonderful, thank you. Oh,
Not at all, ma'am.
wonderful. I hope it wasn't a burnt out fuse. You know anything about a burnt out fuse, Mr. O'Connor?
Oh, I know a little about them, ma'am, but where's the fuse box?
Oh, you have to know that too. Well, it's in the kitchen, but do be careful, it is dark. Don't trip over anything. Oh my goodness, wouldn't it be awful if we just lost him? Mr. O'Connor, are you alright?
Yes, ma'am. I'm all right.
Science is a very mysterious thing. Wasn't it Benjamin Franklin who tied a key to a cot? He must have looked mighty silly, but I would have liked to have seen that. Some people say science just clears
wrote a poem on that lipo, Mrs. Greenfield.
Maybe he did. Should have known better than to trust him with it. There is such a high price for negligence in the world today.
Maybe the poem will win a $10 prize.
Maybe. Guess we'll just have to continue our evening like Mr. Edison did before he found the monster lamp.
Oh, well, candlelight's my favorite kind of light.
Well, that shows that you're romantic. But that is no excuse for Tom. Although, guess it was nice of them to let us finish our meal before plunging us into everlasting darkness. And now, Tom, as penalty for your carelessness, you can help me with the dishes.
Oh, can I be of some help, ma'am?
Oh, I cannot allow that.
Well, I ought to be good for something.
Oh, now, what did I just hear?
I just said I ought to be good for something.
Well, I thought you said that. Now, I think Laura could use some company out front and give you this old candelabra for light. It's a little burnt around the edges, but that's because it was in the Church of the Heavenly Rest when it burned down. Now, listen to this. Gypsy Jones was holding a revival meeting right in the village. She said the church was struck down by lightning because the Episcopalians were holding card parties right in the church.
You don't say that.
I never say anything that isn't so.
I'll beg your pardon.
Oh, and I would like Laura to have just a little bit of dandelion wine. Can you hold them both?
Oh, I can try, ma'am.
Wonderful. Now, Tom, you get into your apron.
Yes, Mother.
How are you feeling now? Any better?
Yes, thank you.
Oh, here, this is for you. It's a little dandelion wine.
Thank you.
Well, go on and drink it. Oh, but don't get drunk. Where did I put the candles?
Oh, anywhere?
Oh. How about right here on the floor? You got any objections?
No?
All right. I'll just put a piece of paper underneath to catch the drippings. I like to sit on the floor. You mind if I do?
Oh, no.
Can you hand me a pillow?
What?
A pillow.
Oh.
Well, how about you? Don't you like to sit on the floor?
Yes, I do.
Well, then why don't you?
I will.
Bring a pillow. I can't see you sitting all the way over there.
I can see you.
Well, that's not fair. I'm right here in the limelight. There, that's better. Now I can see you. Are you comfortable?
Yes, thank you.
Me too. I'm as comfortable as a cow. Oh, say, would you care for a piece of chewing gum?
No, thank you.
Huh, I think I will indulge. Gee, think of the fortune made by the guy that invented the first piece of chewing gum. It's amazing, huh? Did you know that the Wrigley Building is one of the sights of Chicago? I saw it summer before last at the Century of Progress. Did you take in the Century of Progress?
No, I didn't.
Well, it was a wonderful exposition, believe me. You know what impressed me most? The Hall of Science. Makes you wonder what the future will be like in America. It's more wonderful than the present time is. Your brother tells me that you're shy. Is that right, Laura?
I don't know.
Well, I judge you to be an old-fashioned type of girl. I think that's a wonderful type to be. I hope you don't think I'm being too personal, do you?
Mr. O'Connor,
Hmm?
I believe I will take that piece of gum if you don't mind. Mr. O'Connor, have you kept up with your singing?
Sing? Me?
Why, yes, I remember what a beautiful voice you had.
You heard me sing?
Oh, yes, very often. I don't suppose you remember me at all.
You know, as a matter of fact, I did have an idea I'd seen you before. You know, it was almost as if I was about to remember your name, but the name I was about to remember wasn't a name, so I stopped myself before I said it.
Wasn't it? Blue roses.
Blue roses. Oh my gosh, yes, blue roses. You know, I didn't connect you with high school somehow or other, but that's where it was. It was high school. Gosh, I didn't know that Shakespeare had a sister. I'm sorry.
Didn't expect you to remember. You hardly knew me.
But we did have a speaking acquaintance.
Yes, we spoke to each other.
Did we have a class and something together?
Yes, we did.
What class was that?
It was singing, chorus.
Oh.
I sat across the aisle from you in the auditorium Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
Yeah, I remember. You were the one that always came in late.
It was always so hard for me getting upstairs. I had that brace on my leg then. It clumped so loud.
Oh, I never heard any clumping.
To me, it sounded like thunder.
I never even noticed.
Everybody was seated before I came in. I had to walk in front of all those people. My seat was in the back row. I had to go clumping down the aisle with everybody watching.
Oh, well, you shouldn't have been so self-conscious.
I know, but I was. It was always such a relief when the singing started.
Yeah. And I used to call you Blue Roses. How did it ever get started calling you such a name like that?
I was out of school a little while with sclerosis, and you asked me what the matter was when I came back. I said sclerosis, but you thought I said blue roses, so that's what you always used to call me after that.
I hope you didn't mind.
No, I liked it. You see, I wasn't acquainted with many people,
Yeah, I remember you sort of stuck by yourself.
and I didn't have much luck making friends.
Well, I don't see why you would.
Well, I started out badly.
You mean being...
Well, yes, it sort of stood between me and...
Oh, you shouldn't have let it.
I know, but...
You mean you were shy with people?
I tried not to be, but never could.
Overcome it?
No, I never could.
Yeah, well, I guess shyness is something you have to grow out of kind of gradually.
Yes, I guess that...
It takes time.
Yes.
You know something, Laura? People aren't so dreadful when you know them. That's what you have to remember. And everybody has problems. Oh, not just you, but practically everybody has problems. You think of yourself as being the only one who's disappointed, but look around you. What do you see? A lot of people just as disappointed as you are. You take me, for instance. When I left high school, I thought I'd be a lot further along at this time than I am now. Say, you remember that wonderful write-up I had with George?
Yes, I do.
Said I was bound to succeed whatever I went into. Holy jeez, the torch!
Here you are in the Pirates of Penzance.
Oh, the pirates. Better far to live and die under the brave black flag I fly. I sang the lead in that operetta.
So beautifully.
Oh, you heard me then, huh?
I heard you all 3 times.
No.
Yes.
You mean all 3 performances?
Yes.
What for?
I want to ask you if you autographed my program.
Why didn't you?
Well, you were surrounded by your own friends so much that I never got the chance.
came right up and said, "Here."
I thought you might think I was.
Thought I might think it was what?
Oh,
Oh, well. Yeah, I was beleaguered by females in those days.
you were terribly popular.
Yeah.
You had such a friendly way.
Oh, I was spoiled in high school,
Everybody liked you.
including you.
Well, yes, I did too.
Give me that program, Laura. There you are. Better late than never.
My, what a surprise.
Now, my signature's not worth very much right now, but maybe someday it'll increase in value. You know, being disappointed is one thing. Being discouraged is something else. Well, I may be disappointed, but I'm not discouraged. Did you ever finish high school?
And I made bad grades in my final examinations.
You mean you dropped out?
I didn't go back. How is Emily Meisenbach getting along?
That craphead.
Why do you call her that?
Because that's what she was.
You're not still going with her?
Oh, I never even see her.
I read in the personal section that you were engaged.
Yeah. I don't believe that propaganda.
It wasn't true.
It was only true in Emily's optimistic opinion.
Oh,
So what have you done since high school?
what?
What have you done since high school?
Nothing much.
You must have been doing something all this time.
Yes.
Well, such as what?
I took this course at business college.
How did that go?
Well, not very well. I had to drop out. It gave me indigestion.
What are you doing now?
I don't do anything much. Oh, please don't think I sit around doing nothing. My glass collection takes a good deal of time. Glass is something you've got to take care of.
What did you say about glass?
Collection? I said I had one.
You know what I judge to be the trouble with you? Inferiority complex. You know what that is? That's what they call it when a fellow low rates himself. I understand it because I used to have it too. Only my case wasn't as aggravated as yours seems to be. I had it until I took up a course in public speaking and developed my voice. Realized I had an aptitude for silence. Did you know that until that time, I never thought of myself as being outstanding in any way whatsoever?
Oh, my.
Now, I never made a regular study of it, mind you, but I did have a friend who said I could read people better than doctors and make a profession of it. Now, I don't judge that to be necessarily true, but I sure can read a person's psychology. Oh, excuse me, Laura. I always take it out when the flavor's gone. Just wrap it up in a piece of paper. I know how it is when you get it stuck on the bottom of your shoe. Yep. That's what I judge to be your principal trouble. A lack of confidence of yourself as a person. Now, I'm basing that fact off of a number of your remarks and certain observations I made. For instance, that clumping that you thought was so awful in high school, you see what you did? You dropped out of school. You gave up an education all because of a little clump. As far as I can see, practically non-existent. A little physical defect is all you have. It's hardly noticeable even. Just magnified 1,000 times by your imagination. You know what my strong piece of advice to you is? You have to think of yourself as superior in some way.
What way would I think?
Alive, man, alive, Laura. Well, look around you. What do you see? A world full of common people. All of them born, and all of them going to die. Now, which one of them has 1/10 of your strong points? Or mine? Or anybody else's for that matter? You see, everybody excels in some one thing. Well, some in many. You take me, for instance. I found that my interests happen to lie in electrodynamics. So, I'm taking a course in radio engineering at night school on top of a fairly responsible job at the warehouse. I'm taking that course and studying public speaking.
Oh my.
Because I believe in the future of television. I'm going to get right in on the ground floor. Oh, I've already made all the right connections. Now I just need to wait for the industry to get underway. You know, full steam. First, knowledge, second. Then money, second. Then power, when? That's the cycle that democracy is built on. Oh, I guess you think I think a lot of myself, huh?
No, I don't.
Well, then what about you? Isn't there some one thing that you take more interest in than anything else?
Well, as I said before, I do have my glass collection.
Well, what kind of glasses?
Little articles of it. Ornaments, mostly. Little animals, the tiniest little animals in the world. Mother calls them my Glass Menagerie. Here's an example of one if you'd like to see it. He's one of the oldest, he's nearly 13. Oh, be careful if you breathe, he breaks.
Oh, I better not take him. I'm pretty clumsy with things.
Hold on. I trust you with him. See that? There now. You're holding him gently. Now, hold him over the light. He loves the light. See how the light shines through him?
Sure does shine.
Now, I shouldn't be partial, but he is my favorite one.
But what do you call this type of animal?
Haven't you noticed the single horn on his forehead?
Oh, he's a unicorn, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Aren't these animals extinct in the modern world?
I know.
Poor fellow must feel kind of lonesome.
Well, if he does, he doesn't complain about it. He stays on the shelf with the other horses, the ones that don't have horns, and they all seem to get along nicely together.
They do. Say, where ought I put them?
Put them on the table over there. They all like a change of scenery every once in a while.
They do. Say, look how big my shadow is when I stretch.
Oh yes, it's stretched right across the ceiling.
It stopped raining. Well, where does that music come from?
From the Paradise Dance Hall across the alley.
How about cutting the rug a little, Miss Wingfield? Or is your program all filled up? Let me take a look. Oh, man. Every dance is taken. I'll just cross a few out. Ah, a waltz.
Oh, I can't dance.
There you go with that inferiority stuff.
I never danced in my life.
Come on, try.
I'd step on you.
I'm not made out of glass.
How do we start?
Hold out your arm a little.
Like this?
A little higher. Here you go. Now, don't stiffen up. That's the principal thing. Just relax.
It's hard not to.
Okay.
I'm afraid you can't budge me.
What do you bet I can?
Oh goodness! Yes, you can.
Now, just let yourself go now, Laura. Just let yourself go.
Try it.
Come on. Loosen your backbone a little.
I
There
know.
we go. Oh, man.
It doesn't matter.
We knocked the little class horse over.
Yes.
Is he broken?
Now he's just like all the other horses.
You mean he lost?
He's lost his horn. Oh, it doesn't matter. Maybe it's a blessing in disguise.
I bet you'll never forgive me. I bet that was your favorite piece of glass.
I don't have favorites. Much. It's no tragedy. Glass breaks so easily no matter how good care you take of it. The traffic jars the shelves and things fall off.
Still, I'm awfully sorry I was the cause of it.
Just imagine he had an operation. He had to have the horn removed to make him feel less freakish. Now he'll feel more at home with the other horses, the ones that don't have horns.
Well, glad you have a sense of humor. No, you're different than anybody else I know. You mind me telling you that? I mean it. Well, I'm pretty good at expressing how I feel, but this I don't know how to say. Has anybody ever told you that you're pretty? Because you are, and in a different way than anybody else, and all the nicer because of the difference. I wish that you were my sister, Laura. I'd show you how to have confidence in yourself. Because a lot of people aren't such wonderful people. There are 100 times 1,000, but you're 1 times 1. They walk all over the earth. You stay right here. They're as common as weeds. But you're blue roses.
But blue is wrong for roses.
Oh, it's right for you. You're pretty.
What respect am I pretty?
In all respects. Your eyes, your hair, your hands are pretty. Oh, well, you think I'm saying all this because I'm invited over and I have to be nice. Well, I could do that. I could say a lot of things without being sincere, but I'm coming to you sincerely. I happen to notice that you have this inferiority complex that makes you feel uncomfortable with other people. Well, somebody ought to build your confidence up, way up, and make you feel proud instead of turning away and blushing. Somebody ought to kiss you, Laura. Oh, jeez, I shouldn't have done that. That was way off the beam. Oh, well, would you care for a cigarette? Oh, you don't smoke. Do you want a mint, a peppermint, a lifesaver? My pocket's a regular drugstore. I wish that you were my sister, Laura. I did the same thing as Tom. I really thought I was over to meet you. Well, maybe that wasn't the reason it had me over, but what if it was? Well, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that in my case, I can't ask for your number and cell phone. I can't call up next weekend and ask for a date. I thought I'd better explain myself so you wouldn't misunderstand. I hurt your feelings.
You mean you won't call again?
I've got strings on me, Laura. I go out all the time with a girl named Betty. She's a nice, quiet home girl like you, and Catholic and Irish, and in many ways we get along fine. I met her last summer on a moonlight boat trip up the river to Alton. From the start, it was love. man the power of love is pretty tremendous. Love can change the world. It happened that Betty's aunt took sick and had to wire to Centralia, so naturally when Tom invited me over, I accepted, not knowing that you were, not knowing. I wish that you'd say something. What are you doing? You giving them to me? What for?
A souvenir.
I'm coming, children! I thought you'd like some liquid refreshment. And Mr. O'Connor, have you heard that song about the lemonade? No, well, it's lemonade, lemonade made in the shade and stirred with a spade, and then it's good enough for any old maid.
No, ma'am, haven't heard that.
What is the matter with you?
We were just having a very serious conversation.
I don't understand you modern young people. You know, when I was a girl, I was gay about everything.
Haven't changed a bit, Mrs. Wingfield.
Well, I suppose it's the gaiety of the occasion that's rejuvenating my spirit. Well, here is to the gaiety of the occasion. Oh, I just baptized myself. I've got some cherries in the kitchen, and I put one in each glass.
Well, you shouldn't have gone through all that trouble, ma'am.
Oh, it was no trouble at all. Could you hear us cutting up in the kitchen? You know, I was so outdone with Tom for not bringing you over sooner, but now that you found your way, I want you to come all the time. And I don't mean just once in a while. I mean all the time. I think I'll go back in that kitchen now.
Well, as a matter of fact, ma'am, I've got to get going.
Oh, why, Mr. O'Connor, it is only the shank of the evening.
Well, you know how it is.
Oh, you mean your young working man who has to keep working man's hours?
Yes, ma'am.
We'll let you off this one time, but only on the condition that you stay later next time. Much later. Now, what night works best for you? Saturday?
Well, as a matter of fact, I've got a couple time clocks to punch. One's in the morning, one's in the evening.
Well, you are so ambitious. You work a night too.
No, not working, man. Betty.
Betty? Now, who is Betty?
Just a girl that girl I go steady with.
Oh. You mean it's serious?
Yes, ma'am. We're set to be married the second Sunday in June.
Tom didn't say anything about you going to be engaged to be married.
Well, the cat's not out of the bag at the warehouse yet. You know how they are. They call you Romeo and stuff like that. It's been a wonderful evening, Mrs. Wingfield. I guess this is what they mean by Southern hospitality.
It was nothing. Nothing at all.
I hope it doesn't seem like I'm rushing off, but I promised Betty I'd pick her up down at the Wabash Depot, and by the time I get my old jalopy down there, her train will be in. Some women are pretty upset to keep them waiting.
Yes, I know all about the tyranny of women. Well, goodbye, Mr. O'Connor. I wish you happiness and good fortune. You wish him that too, don't you, Laura?
Yes, I do.
Goodbye, Laura. I'll always treasure that souvenir. And don't forget the good advice I gave you. So long, Shakespeare. Thanks again, ladies. Good night.
Things have a way of turning out so badly. I don't believe I would play the Victrola, Laura. Hey, our gentleman caller was engaged to be married. Tom!
Yes, Mother?
Come out here. I want to tell you something very funny.
Has our gentleman caller gotten away already?
Our gentleman caller made a very early departure. And that was a nice joke you played on us, too.
How do you mean?
You didn't mention that he was engaged to be married.
Jim? Engaged?
Yeah, that's what he just informed us.
Well, I'll be jiggered. I didn't know.
Yeah, that seems quite peculiar.
Now, What's peculiar about it?
Well, didn't you say he was your best friend down at the warehouse?
He is, but how did I know?
Seems peculiar that you didn't know your best friend was engaged to be married.
Look, Mother, the warehouse is the place where I work, not where I know things about people.
You don't know things anywhere. You live in a dream and you manufacture illusions. But where are you going? Where are you going? Where are you going?
I'm going to the movies!
Oh, fine, now that you have made such fools of us! All of the effort, the preparations, the expense, the new lanterns, the rug, all the clothes for Laura, all for what? To entertain some other girl's fiancé? Well, you just go to the movies. Don't think about us. A mother deserted, an unmarried sister who is crippled and has no job. Don't let anything interfere with your selfish pleasure. You just go to the movies then. Go!
Right? I will. And the more that you shout at me about my selfish pleasures, the quicker I'll go. And I won't go to the movies either.
Fine then. You just go to the moon, you selfish dreamer!
Go to the moon. Much further. For time is the longest distance between any two places. I left St. Louis. I descended these steps of this fire escape for one last time, and from then on, I followed in my father's footsteps. Trying to find in motion what I'd lost in space. I traveled around a great deal. The cities, they swept about me like dead leaves that were brightly colored, but torn from their branches. I would have stopped. But I was pursued by something. It always came upon me unawares, taking me altogether by surprise. Perhaps it was a familiar bit of music. Perhaps it was only a piece of transparent glass. Perhaps I'm walking along some street at night in some strange city before I found companions, and I passed by the lighted window of a shop where perfume is sold. And it's filled with these little bits of glass, these delicate bottles in rainbow colors. I know. And all of a sudden, my sister, she touches my shoulder. I turn around and I look her in the eyes. Lord, I tried to leave you behind, but I'm so much more faithful than I intended to be. I reach for a cigarette. I cross the street. I go into a bar or a movie. I buy a drink. I speak to the nearest stranger. Anything I can. You can't. Nowadays, the world is lit by lightning.